Hello everyone, I'm Axel Rosa and welcome to my presentation on entertainment business models, Columbia Records. I chose this particular company because I have always had a great interest and a huge obsession with pop music. Columbia Records has been home to many of my favorite artists such as Mariah Carey, Adele, John Legend, Celine Dion, and many more. The first time I ever heard of Columbia Records or a record label was when I was a child and I purchased my first CD with my own money, which was Jessica Simpson's first album, Sweet Kisses, in 1999. And on top of that, I've always been a fan and given Columbia Records its credit within the music industry. I hope to one day to be able to cross paths as an music entrepreneur or as some sort of collaboration or distribution with the label. So a little bit of background about Columbia Records. It's an American recording music label based in New York City, launching some of the world's biggest musical artists. The company has earned its title of being the oldest record company. Originally founded in 1887 by a group of investors as the American Graphophone Company, it eventually became Columbia Records. And in 1987, it became part of the Sony Music Entertainment family. Recently, with its 125th year anniversary, here's a little nostalgic background video on Columbia Records.
For more than a century. The hits from Dylan to Beyonce, Streisand to Springsteen. Columbia Records has created music that echo and electrify our culture. Now, on its 125th anniversary, the dramatic history of the world's most innovative music label comes alive in a fully immersive, multi-touch book. Interactive videos while you read. Explore galleries of images with a single swipe. And listen to the greatest music from over a century of Columbia legends. Meet the early visionaries who turned the phonograph into a phenomenon. The jazz pioneers who sparked a musical renaissance. And the singers who made the soundtrack for decades rocked by war and social protest. Discover how Columbia brought the best of Broadway and Carnegie Hall into homes around the globe. And witness the creation of new technologies that revolutionized recording. Experience 125 years of innovation through words and music that changed the world. Sound, the Columbia Records story.
So Columbia Records' main customer segments are men and women between the ages of 18 to 34. This market consists of people that were born from 1980 to 2000 and also a few younger people as well. Columbia's music type has changed from jazz to blues to pop and alternative, focusing more on a younger crowd. And it still targets its older demographic between the ages of 35 to 55 and older, given the demographic of Tony Bennett and Barbra Streisand, and continually so. Another opportunity for that benefits from recognizing any business's customer segments would be many artists have the opportunity to seek sponsorship from certain brands and companies. In 2013, Beyonce received a sponsorship promotional branding deal from the Pepsi company for $55 million for her Miss Carter World Tour, along with sponsorship of other creative projects. So the current value proposition for Columbia Records is a great one. Its artists and its different music genres make it greatly unique, and it stands out. It's launched some of the most of the amazing careers in music for people like Adele, Barbra Streisand, Beyonce, and Tony Bennett. All these artists have gained respect from the music industry by the music they have created, as well as gained the love and support from their devoted fans. Throughout their careers in the music industry, these artists have accumulated Grammy Awards recognizing their talents, also making them a huge net worth. As you can see, from Adele to Beyonce to Tony Bennett to Barbra Streisand, we have different customer demographics as well as and different genres of music, and they're all Grammy worthy and a net worth over $100 million. Although Columbia Records targets a much younger audience these days, the label also appeals to its older generation with music artists such as, like I said prior, Tony Bennett, Barbra Streisand, Celine Dion, and even David Bowie. So channels of distribution. Columbia Records works with music television networks such as BET, MTV, VH1, CMT, amongst others, to negotiate airplay for their artists' music videos. Promoting music videos for an artist on popular television networks like these could potentially increase album sales while also generating revenue. Another form for the younger generation to gain access to any artist's music video would be the Vivo conglomerate, part of YouTube. And also another channel distribution would be its download services. Columbia Records releases its artist albums under digital online music distributors such as iTunes and Tidal. By offering this form of distribution, consumers have easy access to purchasing their preferred music. Music streaming services also are a channel distribution for Columbia Records. It allows the record label to promote their artists' music through various streaming services like Apple Music, Pandora, YouTube Music, and Spotify. When it comes to customer relationships, Columbia Records stays relevant with their online interactions with fans and consumers by using their own website as well as potential social media outlets such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. By engaging with consumers on social media, it targets Columbia's demographics, since most are millennials constantly using technology and updating their current status. Websites and social media are also a great way for Columbia to keep track of their fan and consumer base, as well as what appeals to their consumers, and staying in touch with what is trending in today's world. Another factor would be artist merchandise. Most signed artists have merchandise of their own. It's typically sold at concerts, retail stores, online stores, and artist appearances. The merchandise can range from t-shirts to poster boards and fashion accessories. Meet and greet signings also play a huge part. The Columbia Records schedules meet and greets, CD signings, so their fans/consumers can have the opportunity to interact with their favorite artists on a more personal level. Key activities. One necessity for a record label would be to find the talent for the record label, and that's the A&R representatives' jobs. A&R stands for Artists and Repertoire, and they seek the talent by attending shows, concerts, and listen to demos from aspiring artists. Currently, as of fall 2016, Mark Williams serves as president of A&R for Columbia. He joined the label in 2010 and has since signed acts like Pharrell Williams and Leon Bridges. Music producers also play a huge key activity in any record label. One great music producer that has worked with Columbia Records is Barry Gibb. One of Gibb's most popular work with Columbia was being featured and also producing Barbra Streisand's 22nd studio album, Guilty. The record became the best-selling studio release of Streisand's career, shipping 55 million copies in the United States alone. Barry Gibb also signed a record deal with Columbia in July 2016 with plans on releasing his second solo album by that following fall, according to PR Newswire. When it comes to social media marketing, social media plays plays a big part in Columbia's marketing strategies. A great example was in 2013, Columbia artist Beyonce released her fifth studio album, Beyonce, with just one Instagram video post. After selling the post, after posting the post, Beyonce sold 430,000 copies within 24 hours and generated 1.2 million tweets on Twitter within 12 hours of the release. So, some key resources for the Columbia Records would also be its artists. Hiring talent and finding artists to sign to the record label plays a key resource for Columbia Records. Barbra Streisand is the most successful female singer and has been with Columbia Records for 6 decades. Barbra Streisand's net worth is an impressive $370 million according to Forbes.com, and has earned 8 Grammy Awards. Concert venues also play a key resource. Live Nation teamed up with Columbia Records to launch boy band One Direction's U.S. Honda Civic Tour in 2015. The 2015 Honda Civic Tour will take the world's number one touring band through 17 cities across the U.S., including stops in San Francisco, Chicago, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Seattle, and more. Music rights. Music rights also play a really big part for any record label. Being home to many talented singers and musicians, Columbia Records is also home to musical shows like Fox's The Cast of Glee. Acquiring music show rights enhances the revenue streams for music labels because the fans of the music shows look to purchase that particular show's covered or original music. By acquiring these rights, any original music made by the Fox show will be released only through Columbia Records. Another essential key resource would be the marketing and the legal team. A marketing strategy is a necessity when advertising a new product or business. Columbia Records' marketing team have marketed some of the biggest stars like Beyonce and Adele. In 2016, Columbia Records promoted from within their label Erica Alfredson, Senior Director of Marketing, to Vice President of Marketing. According to Music Business Worldwide, Alfredson has worked on marketing campaigns for Beyonce, Adele, Nine Inch Nails, Jack White, and The Neighborhood. The legal team for Columbia Records comes from the parent family to handle its legal affairs and business affairs that occur outside the record label. Columbia's parent company, Sony Entertainment, enlists the expertise of Julie Swindler, according to Billboard.com. The same article mentions that Swindler worked out a deal between Sony and Jamaican reggae artist OMI's record label Ultra Records to release his track in the recent summer of 2016 Cheerleader, making it a great example of how the legal affairs within the music industry are handled. Some key partners would be the music channels. And another great one for Columbia Records was, according to PRNewsWire.com, in the spring of 2004, Columbia and Viacom announced a television broadcast special on MTV, MTV2, VH1, VH1 Classic, and BET. The participating networks broadcast a special program of Prince on the same night at the same time. The special consisted of a 30-minute television special featuring performances and interviews of the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. Another partner would be streaming radio. Columbia Records has a lot of millennials that they target in today's market, and a great way to get them is by streaming radio. In 2013, iHeartRadio gave an exclusive album release party for the UK boy band One Direction to help launch their album Midnight Memories. The special was hosted by Ryan Seacrest, filmed at the iHeartRadio Theater in Los Angeles, with performances from the boys and a series of Q&A with fans after the show. Cost structure for Columbia Records. One main one would be a music production. An example would be Beyonce's 2016 release Lemonade. According to Muse.Jezebel.com, it costs an estimated $1.35 million to produce. Another key cost structure would be for an artist, great success in the music industry comes with great profit as well. According to the Los Angeles Times, Barbra Streisand paid a reported $40 million in 1992, was paid a reported $40 million in 1992 to renew her record contract with Columbia. Recently, in 2006, Adele was also offered an estimated $130 million contract to secure her status with Columbia Records. Revenue streams. Digital music sales. With online purchasing taking over the main way to buy music, Columbia is home to iTunes making divas Adele and Beyonce. According to People.com, Adele's 25 sold in excess of 900,000 copies via Apple's music service industry within the first day of its release. The figure tops the 617,000 copies purchased within the first 3 days of the sales for Beyonce's unannounced self-titled visual album in 2013. Another source of revenue stream would be endorsements. According to Superstar VoNews.com, Beyonce signed a multi-year endorsement deal with Pepsi, reportedly worth $50 million. The campaign includes television, radio commercials, magazine ads, and a limited edition run of her image on Pepsi cans. The only other artist to be pictured on a Pepsi can was also part of the Sony music family, Michael Jackson. And another great main source of revenue would be its music tours. Columbia artist Beyonce headlined her 2016 Formation tour in April and has so far grossed in $210 million and counting so far. Each of the venues on her European schedule hosted the tour for a single night except for London's Wembley Stadium that drew 142,500 fans on July 2nd and 3rd, earning $15.3 million. So in conclusion, Columbia Records is the longest running music record label in the world. It is home to some of the world's most successful pop acts like Barbra Streisand and Adele. Columbia Records generates revenue through many different streams, including music sales, live shows, and concerts and merchandise. I believe that Columbia Records is a solid business model because not only looking at its financials, but by also its achievements, the simple fact that it is the longest running record label of all time is proof in itself. Making a recommendation, I feel that Columbia could benefit and excel if they added a Latin music division. For example, Roc Nation CEO Jay-Z signed multi-Latin Grammy winner Romeo Santos as president of Roc Nation Latino. Spanish has become the United States' second choice of language, with 55 million Latinos living in the U.S. There's potential to make revenue in the bilingual Hispanic music market, not only within North America, but also Central, South, Canada, and all over the rest of the world, especially Europe. Another recommendation would be combining arena show performers, single performer tours generate millions of dollars with just one artist. If Columbia put their top artists such as Adele and Beyonce on a special tour together, the revenue could potentially reach $500 million each. Both artists generate over $100 million in ticket sales. Imagine if Columbia had them on a tour together. Merchandise, revenue, sponsorship, endorsements, it would make Forbes history. Along with this, maybe even a duet album with original new music, or even covering some of Columbia Records' greatest hits from Barbra Streisand to Tony Bennett to Celine Dion. Well, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate it. Researching this entire project was very exciting. I was literally a sponge. I hope, like I said in the beginning of the video, I hope one day that I can collaborate with Columbia Records or in some way, shape, or form be a part of the process of an amazing future musical project in years to come. If you all have any questions or you want to collaborate or want to talk about artist management, booking shows, marketing, branding, anything like that, send me an email at axeljoserosa@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, guys.